So XAI just released their stealth coding model and it's already available on all of your favorite IDEs like Cursor, etc. Today we're going to put it up in a head-to-head battle against all the other latest and greatest AI models so you can see how it stacks up, but you can also see how all the other AI models stack up against each other. And this is going to be a really interesting video. We're going to start with some UI generation, and we're going to start with two different prompts. One I got back from GPT-5 after telling it what sort of a UI I need, and the second from Claude Opus 4.1 after telling it what exactly I need for the UI. So first, let's start with the prompt that ChatGPT advises we give the models. So we're just gonna begin with this prompt from ChatGPT-5 and take it into our Claude code. I've already made the branch for our first UI changes, and as you can see, the model is set to Opus. So we're just gonna hit it up with the prompt real quick. And we'll let it go. So we're going to be generating the UI for the dashboard page, and just as a reference point, this is what it initially looks like. This is the UI for our dashboard. By the way, if you aren't using, go use jobotic.ai. It'll be available at www.jobotic.ai. So that took a little bit of time, precisely maybe 5 to 6 minutes, but Opus 4.1 has gone out and made the changes. So it's telling me that it's done glassmorphism cards. It's done an animated gradient background with floating blob effects, premium color palette, smooth animations, and hover effects. So it's increased the stats row to 6 cards. Before it was 4, I think. And it's in the chart section, the same charts, but he's changed it. The same charts, but he's changed a few things, like he's added color-coded segments into the donut chart and smooth area chart. I don't exactly know what he's done there. And then gradient backgrounds on the recent applications table. Premium insights activity heat map is something he's added. He's also added a response time leaderboard. So this is sort of what it has created, and I mean, it's not that good, honestly. I think maybe it's struggling because of the sidebar we have, and it just kind of feels all over the place. The page is just generally really long, especially this activity heat map is a bit janky. Overall, I'd give this generation sort of like a 6 out of 10, slightly above average. I know, like, once I prompted more, it's gonna polish it, of course, but none of these buttons are responsive. And if I do something like search, nothing happens. What if I press this? The buttons are completely unresponsive. This is also unresponsive, and if I do this, everything is just unresponsive for some reason. So now I'm gonna go ahead and give the exact same prompt to GPT-5 and Cursor, and let's see what GPT-5 can sort of pull off with the same prompt. Let's see that. And a bit of a diversion from our video, I just want to say I spent a lot of money to make these videos, and in general I spent a lot of money to access these tools for personal use anyway, but I'm using Cursor Ultra, which I pay $200 a month for, and I'm also using the Claude Max plan, and specifically I'm pretty sure I'm using the 20x max. So yeah, 200 here as well. And yeah, I'm spending a lot of money, but it's of course to make videos for you guys and for my daily sort of usage and experimentation with these tools as well. I would really appreciate if you would like to support me and go check out Jobotic. It's free to use, and if you like it, you can always sort of upgrade our plans. We offer different features. We apply to jobs for you, especially I know how bad the applications cycle and just in general getting jobs has been over the past few years. So this is sort of what me and my friend do together as a startup. So go check it out, and if you like it, be sure to buy a plan or just use it for free. Whatever you find is gonna work for you. In the meantime, we'll jump right back, and we can already see that GPT-5 inside Cursor has started making some changes. Now I just want to add in here, from what I've heard, Sonic is way faster than both GPT-5 and Opus 4.1. We are going to get to that further down the video, but as you can see, Opus 4.1 took a pretty long time, and arguably I'd say, I don't know, but I'm probably gonna assume that GPT-5 would take, if not longer, the same amount of time in terms of generating this UI. Just while these things are generating out here, if you are curious about like what sort of tools I use, because of course I'm experimenting with everything and I spend a lot of money on these tools, so I would say I have a decent amount of knowledge on what the best dev tools when it comes to AI specific tools are. I use mainly Claude Code. I just have Cursor for other stuff. I don't even use Cursor IDE that much, and I would say essentially my $200 plan is sort of, I don't even use it that much. But of course, as you can see right now, I'm making a video, so I needed Cursor for here, and yeah, I just have Cursor. I don't know why. But there are other tools that I do use, like as I mentioned, I use Claude Code. I use an MCP server called Nia, and it basically indexes documentation and your other repositories. So like, for example, if I was sort of gonna reference another repo in this chat, like in this repo, I have my chat thread going on. If I wanted to reference another code base, I'd use the Nia MCP to do that. So that's one of the really cool tools. And a sort of the general workflow I use is I usually plan most of my projects inside Claude desktop chat, or like you can use it on the browser as well. I use Opus 4.1, and that's mostly where I do all of my architecture planning and just the general basic initial plan for any project. And once I have that project, I come into Claude Code, I put on plan mode, and I feed that plan to it in plan mode, and it sort of builds on that plan in a more practical way. And then I'd read through it, and if I need to tell it to make some changes or sort of re-guide it into a direction that's better, I do that. And then of course it asks me to start with the auto accept edits on mode to start actually building the project, and I usually give it the go ahead. And then for me, because I work in a small team for my startup with my co-founder, I usually push the code to GitHub, and on GitHub we have Cursor Bugbot. So Bugbot just immediately tells me if there's sort of any security vulnerabilities or in general some bugs that my team would spend hours looking for. I say my team, but it's just one co-founder that I have. So it just gives me a rundown on what bugs I have, and then eventually from GitHub, it's on to Linear, where my co-founder reviews everything and opens the pull request on GitHub, and he can review it too, and then eventually we merge it. So that's sort of the workflow I use. So Nia, Claude Code, Claude Chat. I don't even use Chat GPT or Cursor that much. Just have the subscriptions for no reason. Yeah. Other than that, I use the Supabase MCP too, and that's mainly because one of my applications, I develop other stuff too, but some of my applications in general use Supabase as backend. So I have the Supabase MCP, then I have the Playwright MCP, then I have the Magic UI MCP and the Context 7 MCP. I have the Context 7 MCP, but I don't use it that much anymore because, as I mentioned, I use Nia now. I had Context 7 from before, and I have, you'll find a GitHub repo on GitHub called SuperCloud, and I have that initialized for my Claude Code, and it comes inbuilt with all of these MCP servers. Of course, you'd need to configure them a bit more after you install SuperCloud and configure it with your Claude Code on your machine. But honestly, out of those, I wouldn't recommend getting SuperCloud. Claude Code is really, really good outside the box, and it can get a bit confusing for you. And honestly, I don't use Playwright, Magic UI, or Context 7 anyways. But other than that, if you are a SaaS developer, you can check out Convex. I use Convex in some of my projects, and Convex is super, super cool. Of course, I'm a developer, so I understand it myself too, but LLMs are really good in coding in Convex too. So I went on a bit of a tangent, but that's mainly because GPT-5 is taking a bit longer than expected to generate here. So Cursor is, GPT-5 is done generating the code, but right off the bat, we can see that it's run into a few errors. I'm just gonna really quickly copy paste this back into the IDE, and the error is just some tags it's forgot to close. So not ideal, but we'll give it a second prompt just to see. By now, if we were going off of the second prompt, I would have fed a second prompt into my Opus 4.1, and yeah, just imagine the improvements it could have made. But yeah, just to keep things fair, we can't see the UI generation unless GPT-5 fixes this bug that it has generated. So we'll just give it a second. It's just getting funny at this point. it's still stuck on this error. This point is just embarrassing, and I'm just blowing through a lot of token usage here to fix a tag closing essentially, but we'll give it another prompt and see what happens. So good news, it's fixed the bug, and we can see its generation here. It's just the sidebar is just completely non-existent, but the cards overall, they're pretty generic still. I don't know, is it because it was working off the original generation and decided not to make a whole lot of changes? But it hasn't changed a lot. It added the heat map, just like the Opus 4.1 added. Heat map is a bit better, and overall the UI in general feels a little better, other than of course the sidebar has just absolutely disappeared. Let's just check the I would assume yeah, so the buttons don't work here either. I'd give this a 6 out of 10. I don't know, better than Opus 4.1. I am gonna make a slight modification, and on the Sonic response, I'm gonna tell it to revamp the entire UI generation, because I feel like some models, like we can see, even Opus 4.1 was slightly inspired by the original UI, and it was trying to just improve that instead of completely revamping it. So I'm gonna make a slight prompt adjustment. You know what? I'm gonna make that prompt adjustment on the second round of prompts we give to all these LLMs that I got back from Claude Chat. So just to keep things fair, in this head-to-head battle, I'm gonna continue with the same prompt and give it to Sonic this time. So a few issues with Git branching. I don't know, I did switch branches before prompting cursor, but it seems like it's just made them on top of the main branch. Like, I don't know how that's working out, but I'm just gonna go back in the same chat and sort of prompt it from there. As you can see, I have Sonic selected, and I'm on the max mode, so yeah, we'll just go from there. And yeah, so this is the main. So I am expecting Sonic to be pretty fast, and as we have reverted back to what main was initially, we're not on the main branch right now, but this is the original UI that we were changing, making the changes from. So just again, a sort of refresh on what the original UI was, and yeah, we'll just see how fast. Actually, I'm not even gonna cut the recording or anything here, just so we can actually see how fast Sonic really is, to be honest. So for reference, Opus 4.1, let's just keep it even and say Opus 4.1 and Opus 4.1 took like 5 minutes, and then I would say GPT-5 took a bit longer, so we'll say like 8 minutes. And as you can see, the clock is at 12:20. We can say it started at 12:19, and let's see how long Sonic does, and it's supposedly pretty fast. Right off the bat, I'm seeing it make a few changes. I do not know what it's done with the application status distribution chart, so it's not looking good, but we'll just wait for the prompt to complete and see what it comes up with, but not a few early good signs that we're getting. So I thought Sonic was supposed to be fast, but maybe just on a specific subset of problems it's fast, but right now it's taking a rather long time to think through this problem. So just for reference, it's taken 5 minutes as well. As I mentioned, we started at 12:19 earlier, and it's already 12:24 and it's still going. So if anything, I would argue it's not faster, like at least in my personal experience here. Maybe it's faster on a certain subset of issues, as I mentioned, but yeah, like it's pretty much taking the same amount of time right now, and ran into a bug, which is never good. But yeah, let's just let it finish the generation, and I'll catch you guys back from there. So it completed the generation, but small import error. Yeah, I'm just gonna tell it to fix that. So other than Opus 4.1, both GPT-5 and Sonic have needed multiple prompts. So we'll just let it finish generating after I've given the prompt to fix this bug, and yeah, I'll just catch you guys again. So this is really interesting. I wouldn't say it's like crazy good, but low key, I like it more than both the GPT-5 and the Opus generations. Um, I'm just gonna straight out like from how I feel like if you can see the sort of loading animation there, it's even changed that, and I slightly like it more than the previous one. And I mean, it is still clearly not there. You can see these sort of shadows on the corners. They don't look that good, and it's clearly an AI generated UI from what anyone can see. But I would give this like a 7 out of 10, not on a like general UI design skill, but just like on the competition we've had today. So maybe I could be wrong, but it's for me it's done better than both GPT-5 and Opus 4.1. I even like the sort of thing it did, the sort of thing it did up here in the headers, though it's square, which I don't really like that much. But rounded errors are also at some places, which are a dead giveaway of AI generated code. But yeah, generally I would say it's better than the others, but it's almost on par. So it's not like a big change, and that's mainly because, as I told you, it's drawing on the inspiration from the original UI. And now we're gonna move on to our second prompt, which I got back from Claude. And in that, I'm gonna explicitly tell all the models to make just major changes and revamp the existing UI for the dashboard. So really excited for that one. Really quickly, just let's get into that. We'll just catch the prompt from here, and we'll go back on cursor. What? Yeah. So just go here, and I'll just delete this area, and I'll just delete this, and let's just start from Sonic, just based off how good my experience has been. So we'll go in the reverse order this time. So we'll do Sonic, GPT-5, and then Claude. Yeah, let's go. So real quick, I just forgot to add this line. I'm just actually gonna add it at the top. So, just to keep things sort of consistent here, we're just gonna send the prompt again. So just gonna let that cook up and catch you guys after this is done. So the generation is complete, and I'm pretty sure again we've run into some errors with Sonic. So just really quickly gonna see what the error is. What the hell? It's gonna be somewhere up here. I don't know. Yeah. So again, it's the same import it sort of missed last time. I don't know if it has a bug with the arrow right import, so we'll just wait for it to fix that. So the generation is complete, and I don't know why it's just left all of this space, just to, I guess, keep the divs consistent. But nothing special. I mean, I don't like it that much, especially these off-putting colors. Screaming AI generated. I do like how it does certain things, like the charts for response times it's made over here for the representation. I like that, and the sort of subtle hover highlights and stuff. I like it, but I've seen this sort of a UI on Lovable like 5 months ago, and yeah, this is a really off-putting AI generated UI. So I don't know if it's in general just a prompt that Claude gave us, but yeah, we'll just continue onwards and go with GPT-5. But I'd honestly give this like a 5 out of 10. Yeah, actually maybe even a 4 out of 10, just because I don't know, I just don't like it. Let me just, so I'm gonna send the same prompt into GPT-5 and revert these changes. So we'll wait for GPT-5 to make the changes, and I'll be back with you guys. So pretty strange. It's given me an error of I'll try to resume. So yeah, the GPT-5 generation is done, and honestly, like, I don't know, guys. You tell me in the comments, but I'm not a big fan. Yeah, can see that GPT-5 is a bit more unique when it comes to designing the UIs, but I feel like with some further prompting it would be better. But I also feel like in general, just the prompt I got from Claude was just not that good, because I feel like the prompt I got from Claude is the main culprit when it comes to the sort of UI that I'm getting that's not good. Because yeah, it's like, I just don't like this, and it's just generic stat cards and then these divs, and yeah. So I'm just gonna straight up not waste any more time, and I'll give this like a rating of, honestly, 4 out of 10 as well. Like, I'm not impressed, and I wouldn't blame the model for this. I just feel like maybe the prompt itself is not that good as well, but that's sort of the competition that we're basing everything off of. So that could be an indicator that GPT-5 sticks to whatever prompt you give it, and could be a good thing, because I feel like when I give it an Opus 4.1 next, when I am, it's gonna be better, but not because Opus 4.1 is essentially better, just because it likes to sway away from what you're actually telling it to do. So considering the prompt, I would say this is pretty accurate, but I still see some bugs. Like, it added this card, and I don't know, like, if there was no data for this, it maybe shouldn't have added this, but maybe the prompt just told it to. But the gradients are a bit better, and the colors are not that off-putting. I mean, you still have purple some places. The gradient is a bit better, but yeah, it is not bad, but yeah, not a big fan. So 4 out of 10. Let's just get into Opus 4.1. So I'm just gonna prompt Opus 4.1, and let's see what happens, guys. Yeah. So the Opus 4.1 generation is finished. I can see it in the background, and I've seen a bit of a preview, and it's just, I really like it. So let's just get right into it. I don't know what it's completing here. Custom see it. So it's just adding some additional effect. Actually, let's just wait for it to finish the additional effects. So pretty much the generation is finished, and as always, I mean, we all know that, you know, it's just Opus 4.1 really gets the bugs, and it usually one-shots. Now, I'm not saying that this design is like just out of this world or something, but anyways, like, let's just dive right in. Firstly, like, of course, these buttons are not gonna work. Now, I don't know what new mission is for, but up front, I really like these sort of like glowing gradient effects you get on each card. I like these subtle chart gradient backgrounds it's given. Really like that. And then I really like what it's done with the application trend chart here, with these like 3 split charts with different colors on overlaying each other. And yeah, I mean, even some of the like a lot of things are responsive. I mean, this is just impressive. Like, we have these subtle hover effects and the activity matrix. Oh my god, this is really nice. And if this is super cool. This is just like, I would say this is like even the pending, like this sort of circular pendulum effect, like it's given, I don't know, circular motion, or I don't know, I wouldn't call that a pendulum, but yeah, sort of circular animation motion thingy icon it's found. I've never seen that in an AI generated UI before, but I do hate these sort of colors. But other than that, I'd give this like a solid 8.5 out of 10. So I mean, yeah, I mean, Opus 4.1 is way more expensive than all the other models, but then again, it's just way better. I mean, if I continued polishing with prompts on this UI, I can only imagine what's gonna happen. So that is it for this video. I mean, a bit of a rundown on all three, Sonic, Opus, GPT-5. I would have put why did I say Sonnet? Sonic, Opus, and GPT-5. I would have put Sonnet, the Anthropic Sonnet 4 model to the test, but I don't know. Let's just do Opus, So I did Opus, and yeah, the results are right in front of you. For me, Opus 4.1 is just clearly the winner here, and yeah, that's it for the video. So if you like this video, or you have any other suggestions or ideas for other videos you'd like me to make, of course, with sort of access to the tools that I have, there's a lot of things I can make. Let me know down in the comment section, and make sure to subscribe and like. And I know this video was a bit of a long one, but yeah, I had to put everything to the test. And yeah, thank you for watching.